Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first Excellence in Action podcast. And with me today, we're doing a legacy of excellence. And I have Barbara Shannon here with me today, and I'm going to interview her. It's going to be her final on camera until she retires on May 15th. And so we thought it would be a great opportunity to have Barbara as our first guest. This is something that we're going to do throughout the year. We're going to interview colleagues that display excellence in action. That is our theme for 2026. And no better person to start with than the amazing Barbara Shannon.
Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Kara.
I like this a lot. So good to have you here today.
Thank you. It's really great.
Yes, amazing. So, 26 years. Mm-hmm. Take us back and tell us how you got here and what you were thinking. Did you ever think it would be this whole, wonderful career?
No, I've told this story to several people, but so excuse me if I'm repeating myself, but I actually took the job because I needed a job when I moved to New Hampshire and was out of work. So took this job, and my number one goal of taking this job was to meet every HR person in the seacoast of New Hampshire and to get myself another job and get out of agency staffing. So that obviously did not go as planned, happily, because I realized very soon that once I got the right team, and I think that was really what was my apprehension at first, is I didn't particularly care for the people that I was working with. I was the sales rep, and I would bring in orders, and they would give me a, nose up. Didn't like my orders. Mm-hmm. And so I just was like, I don't know that this is for me. But then I got a really good manager who believed in me and gave me additional responsibility and gave me direction. And then I just kept moving forward. It was always just a progress of how can I do better. I didn't look ahead and say, I want to be a vice president someday. I just said, I just want to continually improve and get better. And how do I make my skills better? How do I learn how to be a manager? I'd never been a manager, and then I had the opportunity. And what can I learn from the people around me? So really observe what worked and what didn't work, and then how do I incorporate it with how I work? That really helped me in my career.
Well, it certainly paid off.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think excellence in action means in regard to how you have conducted yourself and your career here at CoWorx?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I've always appreciated and admired the fact that CoWorx is a very ethical organization. They believe in doing the right thing, and even when nobody's watching. I know we had some billing errors once with a client. They would never have known it, but once we discovered it, we went to them, and I told it to my boss at the time, and I was told, hey, go make them aware that we were doing an audit, and we discovered it, and we're giving them back their money that we had overcharged by mistake. There was no malintent. And I really appreciated the fact that it's an ethical organization I work for, and that's so important to me, and I think to so many people. And I think the excellence part is doing the right thing, and then always doing your best. I think it's just always thinking and acting like this company is my own little company. I treated it like this was my money that was going out the door, and if somebody wasn't working hard, that was me paying somebody, and I never, so I really took it very personally, and being able to act like that as a mini entrepreneur and have the ability to do that, and figure out what worked and what didn't work, and that's how I always continued to improve, and then always paying attention to what the goals the company is setting forth. If this is important to the company, then I'm doing it. If this is where I need to be, compliance is so huge, and I also very much appreciate how important that is. And guess what? If that's what the company expects, team, that's what we're doing. So having those expectations of me and pushing it down to my team.
And it's created opportunity.
Correct.
It's absolutely 100%. Created opportunity for you and for those around you.
Yes, correct.
Wonderful. Okay. What advice would you give to someone stepping into leadership for the first time?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
I would say, not know these questions ahead of time.
No, I did not. I would say to make use of your colleagues. We have wonderful colleagues here at CoWorx that truly want everybody to be successful. It's not a dog-eat-dog world here at CoWorx. If you will show up and participate and and give back to your colleagues, they're going to do the same to you. I think moving into like the vice president role, I had never really worked with large organizations in terms of logistics. I don't know much about that world. And so I really relied on Noni and KB because they have such wonderful experience and they're happy to share. And that's what I think you have to be very open. Don't assume you know the best way to do something. Rely on your colleagues and be open and learn and adopt what is great. Make use of the tremendous amount of expertise that is here at CoWorx. Be open to it and then try it out and just keep moving it forward with the goal of being excellent.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And say yes.
Say yes, correct.
You said yes a
yes,
lot, right?
Yes,
Right?
yes, exactly. When you asked me to go back to being a salesperson, which I had purposely gotten out of, and then to be in charge of sales and go back and have a sales budget, I was like, I don't know, but yes, all right, if you think I can do the job, let's do it. Let's make it happen. And it's worked out wonderfully. So yes.
It most certainly has. What do you think, and this is a little bit repetitive, but if you one thing that was really the key to success in all these years?
I think it was forming a team. I think that when I was managing North Region and making sure I had the right team in an office. If you don't have the right team in an office, you will not be successful. So you have to determine who's on the bus. And if they're not on the bus, to get the people who will keep on the bus and keep the engine moving forward. So I think the key is really having that team in a branch and then really working together, because I know right now when I work with my Newport team, when I have to bring in sales, and if I'm not on my budget, I'm like, hey, you guys got to help me. I've got some MBD orders. Can you help me with this? And really work together. And then when they need my help to defend them to a client about why we're having a hard time, I stand up for them, they stand up for me. So really forming that team is just integral to success here at CoWorx.
Absolutely. It takes everybody.
It definitely
to
does.
make it happen.
Yes. And the
It really
support
does.
we have at corporate, when you have an issue, calling the accounting team, calling the credit team, calling the corporate services, they're all there to support you, and they want to, and taking advantage of those people too.
Excellent advice. What are you most proud of, and the legacy that you will leave behind?
I think what I'm most proud of and what I've enjoyed the most is the relationship I've had with my client, Whelan Engineering. They valued us as a true partner, and I feel like that was really brought so much joy to me, and the relationships building that I've built. I have friends outside of work who started as a client that we now socialize with, and it's really been that piece of the partnership and maintaining those relationships, growing those relationships, that has helped me be successful and CoWorx be successful. Of course, I can't forget the Abbott business that we had during COVID.
We're all grateful for
wearing
that.
wearing
COVID,
masks. Yeah, not COVID. Well, kind of. Wearing the masks. Just all the PPE we had to wear to go through 1,000 people, and I know that's an everyday life in the GXO sites and our large sites. That was not Sacco's and not my experience with CoWorx. So to get to have that's particularly exciting to have that. And all of working with Jen Nielsen and all of her great accounts, Conti Tech, which was a huge on-site, Hutchinson Sealing. So I guess it's those really big pieces of business. Sturm Ruger is just a wonderful partner to us. And those are the big highlights, I think, are those relationships and those clients we've taken and proven ourselves and developed.
And been taken seriously as business
Exactly.
partners.
As business partners,
yeah.
right. We are not a vendor, when they always talk about that. We are truly a business partner. They take what we say seriously. They expect us to come to the table and deliver, but they also, when we do deliver news, they're open to it and want to give back and figure out how to work together on these things.
And that is when the magic happens.
It really does. It really does.
What will you miss the most?
I will miss the people. This is such a big part of my life. I just so enjoy so many different people and being able to interact with so many different people in different disciplines in different regions. Having the career I've had, I've been able to have the small, just New England, or I should say North region, and then New England, and then the sales team. So really, which led me to working with people, like I said, Noni, KB, that I worked, Michelle, that I wouldn't have worked with necessarily, and worked very closely and alongside, and being able to learn from them. So I think that's probably the piece that I'll miss the most, is definitely the people that I work with.
And the flip side, and anything's on the table, what will you not miss?
I will not miss sales budgets, the budget process.
Yep. I get that.
Think the pressure of sales is what, and not waking up and like, oh my gosh, we're behind sales. I'm behind budget. What are we going to do? Do we have to, what can we do to make it better? Why isn't it working? We're trying so hard to get this sales engine going. And now I feel like it is, right?
Yeah,
but it took us 2 years, and you're like, are we doing what we're doing? Is that right? So that constant worry that I wasn't performing and that we weren't going to get where we needed to be. So that I will not miss one iota.
I totally get that.
Yes.
I will say, the foundational change that we needed was part of why, I was hoping that, you would say yes. Although I do know you were probably like, it took you a minute to get there, and we talked through it for months.
Yeah.
Really,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Time does go by fast. And Barbara told me, I've told this story as well so many times, but a very long time ago of your retirement date. So we had plenty of notice, but it flew by. I mean, maybe not for you, but
No, it did.
Time does fly. And it's been wonderful to see the change. And I do think that it's starting to really come to fruition, all the things that they're working on. And it does take time. Change is hard.
Right.
And it was a lot of years of needing to fix.
Right.
Or
Figuring
improve.
out. Right.
And that, what I can say about you is that sort of, you always call it a stomach ache. Like, I have a stomach ache about that. That whatever you really call it, your stomach ache, your stress, is just, it's what I think is actually makes a person, you specifically in this instance, successful, because it's you're never not striving to be excellent. And there's so many people at CoWorx that I don't want it to be stressed, but are looking to achieve their goals, and it's never not on their mind.
Right.
We're not standing still. So
yeah. Sometimes it's just like a puzzle. It's like, all right, if we got to move this here, and I think that's what you do so well, is figuring out the parts of the puzzle and putting it all together. So
yes,
does this piece go here? Does it go over here? So I think that's part of
and
it.
sometimes there are puzzle pieces missing.
Right.
And that's a challenge too.
Right. Figuring that out.
Yeah. Yep. And you're going to wake up on May 16th, not at 5 a.m.
No, that is exactly it. I no longer want to get up at 5 a.m. 6 a.m., but that's all right. I have not 5 a.m.
Very disciplined you are.
I
You're
am.
focused on your health, and you work out, and like to go into an office versus work from home. So what are you most looking forward to in this next chapter?
I really want to be able to have the opportunity, well, first of all, not to spend my entire weekend doing chores that we all have to do, right? And fit into the weekend. So not having that, point, I'll be able to pick and choose, but really being in my community and volunteering more. I really think I'll have the opportunity. I volunteer quite a bit now, but I would really like to expand the groups that I would like to really have always wanted to help, and I think, and then spend more time with my family. They may not be so happy with that, and my friends that I see, but
I'm sure they are.
My children, I don't know. All right, Mom, go back to work. But really, and seeing friends a lot more than I'm able to do right now.
As you should.
And travel, of course. We always love to travel.
Yeah, certainly a well-deserved next chapter ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
And last question, if you could leave one message to the company, what would it be?
Oh, that's a hard one. I I guess my message would just be that to everybody, just to continue to strive towards excellence. I think that that is just the goal that we have to, because it will never get there. So we have to always be working towards it. And I think that having that goal is perfect, because as long as we're moving towards it, things are coming into place, which is why we have the new operations that is rolled out, and we're seeing success so incredibly on it, that that idea of excellent got us there. So what's the next step and the next step? So I think always striving and keeping out that excellence is a continuous circuit that we have to keep working towards.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you very much for
Well, thank
joining my first podcast here. We did not prepare ahead of time. I think you did very well. I think that's the point too. I like sort of, this ad hoc kind of conversation where you're answering authentically. Before we conclude, what I would say is, we've been celebrating you this week, and such a well-earned retirement and a great career. And I think back to when we met, and I mean, frankly, I was a kid.
Yes, you were.
And
when I saw you, we were both younger, but I remember looking at you the first time. I was like, "Who is this young girl, woman?" But she was.
I was just a kid, and had this job, and I wasn't married. I didn't have any children. I really had only had, one other job.
Significant. Yes.
And other jobs, of course, I've worked since I was 12, but. In staffing, I had one role before here, and you were the first person that I, drove up to Dover, New Hampshire. I think it was Dover, to meet and train with you in this weird office in the old post office or something. I couldn't find it. There was no phones and
no
GPS. And just thinking back all those years, you were always the person. You have to have a person at work, right? Well, Barb was my person. And then I became your leader after so many years, and we dealt with that wonderfully, and I always appreciated the way you handled that. But what I will remember the most, outside of, really admiring your desire to achieve your goals and always doing that, you always figured it out. And that's something I want to be very clear about. Like, we've been through a recession together. We've been through COVID together, ups, downs, reorganization, different leadership, so many things. And you were always able to sort of see around the problem and pivot and figure it out. And that is really commendable, because it's not easy what we do in business. And you would ask for help if you needed it, but you just would always make it happen. And it's been a joy to watch, and you should be super proud of that. And I will miss that, of course, but what I will miss and think of so fondly for all those years is being sort of a calming person for me. When I need to, vent or get something off my chest, and whether it was, you with your family, and I didn't have teenagers yet, now I do, and I ask you questions about it, and just sharing our family lives together all those years. And, as my positions continued to change, those relationships changed quite a bit for me. In a way that, was hard. And that's still hard. Not everybody wants to sit next to you anymore. I still like sitting next to you. I hope you still like sitting next to me. I definitely love
sitting next to
you. But I will miss sitting next to you.
Yes, I will very much.
Please keep in touch.
I will.
You've been a wonderful guest on our first ever. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
And enjoy.
Thank you.